When we first meet a pathological narcissist, a lot of us may notice subtle nuances or just oddities or quirks or things that seem a little different, a little off. And we will likely misinterpret these things as personality traits that the narcissist does not actually have. In this video, I'm going to go over a list of personality traits that we may first assume the narcissist has, and what these things actually mean, and how over time in the relationship, why these assumptions we made in the beginning may start to make less and less sense. Welcome to Looking Behind the Mirror, where we explore narcissism and take our lives back as we make sense out of nonsense. As a quick disclaimer, everything I say is based on my opinions and my personal experiences. I'm not a professional, and if you're really struggling, I encourage you to seek professional help. I am providing links below for you. One of the most common personality traits that we may misinterpret in a narcissist is kindness, or someone who's really nice. Now, some narcissists are just really mean people, and they present as really mean people when you first meet them. And I would call these people generally malignant or toxic narcissists. But many narcissists will present as exceptionally nice people. They may strike you as a little odd that they are so nice and friendly and kind. Over time, if you grow too close to these kinds of people, you'll soon start to see inconsistencies, and you may become very confused about how this kind, nice person can be so cruel at times. As I look back on these kinds of people that I have known, to me, I can see a lack of warmth. I see a lot of niceties, I see a lot of compliments and flattery, but I don't see a lot of empathy. I don't see warmth. I don't see true love behind that kindness, or I wouldn't even call it kindness. I would just call it being nice or acting nice. So there's a depth that's missing, even in the beginning of the relationship, even when you first meet this person. There's just a shallowness to it where they don't really understand you. They're not really seeing you, and they don't really truly care about who you are, what you want, or how you feel. But it can be really easy to overlook this when you meet somebody that is so nice and friendly. In reality, when a pathological narcissist is a very nice person, they're doing this as a manipulation tactic. This is a way for them to earn somebody's trust and eventually be able to control them and maybe guilt them into things, make them feel obligated because of how nice they've been. Of course, wouldn't you want to do all these things for me after I have been so nice to you? And of course, there are narcissists that are actively running scams or cons all the time, and being nice is how they rope people in, how they earn people's trust and get them involved in Ponzi schemes or business scams or things like that. And also, narcissists want to see themselves a certain way. Narcissists have an idea in their head of who the ideal person is, and they want to be that person. But a narcissist's idea of who the ideal person is can vary from narcissist to narcissist. Some narcissists might want people to see them as a mean, scary, domineering person, and to them, that's the ideal person. But some narcissists might look at a very nice person that everybody likes and everybody thinks is so kind as the ideal person. And a narcissist that looks at it that way wants people to see them as kind and nice because that, in their mind, is the ideal person. So it has nothing to do with how nice or kind this person actually is. There can be little to no warmth or empathy or caring for anybody else's feelings, and no ability to see other people for what they are or to consider their needs. But it can be all about the narcissist and how the narcissist wants to be seen and how the narcissist wants to see themselves. So they will act nice just because they want people to think they're a nice person, because they want to believe that they are a nice person, because to them, that's the ideal person. Another personality trait that a narcissist may seem to have is the trait of being a very caring person. And I kind of threw this one in here because I don't think that this is something that you're going to necessarily interpret on your own, but this one tends to be something that the narcissist is going to say out loud. They're going to say, things like, I'm sorry that I care so much, or I just care too much about you to let you do this thing, or I care too much about this to let it go a certain way. And this is really a control tactic. This is really a way to reframe things that they are trying to micromanage into, well, I just care so much. Like if they're yelling and screaming at you because you forgot to turn the light off in the back room. But instead of saying, oh, I'm a really impatient person that wants to control everything and is going to freak out over the tiniest little mistake, they're going to say, well, I'm sorry that I just care so much about saving money on electricity or preserving electricity. I'm sorry that I care so much and you obviously don't. So while this is usually not something that you're going to think on your own when you meet a narcissist, this is something the narcissist is going to try to present themselves as somebody that just really cares about things. Or maybe they just really care about your career or your schooling, and that's why they're constantly hounding you and harassing you about tasks that you should be completing when it has absolutely nothing to do with them or no bearing on them, because they just care about you so much. And this is why they're constantly harassing and nitpicking you. I hope it goes without saying that this has nothing to do with caring about anything. It is all about control and manipulation and driving you crazy. Another personality trait that you may think a narcissist has when you first meet them is generosity. Some narcissists can be very stingy with everything and really not be generous at all, but many narcissists can seem extremely generous and giving of their time, their money, their things. But over time, if you develop a close relationship with somebody like this, you might start to notice that they are selectively generous. They really only give things that don't cost them much, or they give things they feel like giving for whatever reason. Like, for example, maybe they're willing to take you on an expensive vacation and pay for it for you, but they're not willing to give you money for gasoline that you really, really need, right? Because maybe they want somebody to go on vacation with them. And so they're willing to pay for that because it benefits them and it makes them look generous, and it probably will make you feel obligated in some way to give something back to them in the future, like you owe them, right? But if they give you money for gasoline, how does that serve them in any way? So you might see inconsistencies like this, where they're willing to be generous in some ways, in ways that they choose, but then they can be really stingy in others. Some narcissists will be very generous with all kinds of things. Maybe they do give you money for gasoline or to help you pay your bills or whatever, but they're being generous because it makes them look good. They're not doing it because they really want to help you or they really care about the situation you're in. They're doing it because of how it makes them look. And for narcissists, their reputations are extremely important to them, but it's never about the underlying issues or the motives that we would assume that people have. It's always about how it looks. So they're not the kind of people that are going to give you something in a way that maybe is anonymous or doesn't really mean much to anybody, like other people aren't going to see it, because to them it's about appearances. It's about, they want to look like they're a generous person, but they don't really care about whether or not they actually are. When a narcissist is being generous, it is always for a self-serving reason. Most people that are truly generous are doing it to actually help other people because they actually want to share what they have. They want to help others. But when a narcissist is being generous, it is to serve themselves. And that's really the only reason they're doing it. And if you benefit from it, that's just like collateral non-damage, right? That's just lucky side effects of something they did purely to serve themselves. If a narcissist is generous and they give of themselves to you or somebody else and they don't get what they wanted in return, they don't get that return on investment that they were counting on, you'll probably see real soon how generous they actually are. Another personality trait that you might think a narcissist has when you first meet them is they may be a very passionate person. You may think that this person is really into whatever it is they're doing. Or you may think that this person is really passionate about, something that might irk them or upset them, or maybe political opinions they have, or maybe opinions they have about different ways that people behave in certain social situations. You just might think that this person's energy is just a really passionate person. And this might actually seem like a really attractive trait. You might be really drawn into this person because passionate people can seem really charismatic, really magnetic. I mean, there's a lot of energy there, a lot of personality, and you might think, wow, this person really cares about whatever it is they're talking about. But for a narcissist, this passion is actually just very thinly veiled anger and frustration. Narcissists are almost always very angry, very frustrated, but of course they're usually in some sort of social situation where they got to control themselves a little bit. They can't just completely unleash this totally irrational, inappropriate rage on the world all the time, or they wouldn't be able to function. But you might see it kind of repressed, like maybe like a lid on a boiler, where it seems like they're just a really passionate person. But if you get to know them over time, you'll start to see, wait, this person's like really passionate about something really stupid. Like they are going on and on about something like the person in line in front of them paid with cash or something like that. Just something that, why is this affecting you so deeply? Why are you hanging on to this and putting so much emotional energy into something that really doesn't matter? And you'll start to see this person's not really passionate. They're just extremely angry and impatient and controlling, and they expect way too much out of the world, and they don't know how to regulate their emotions. Now, when I say passionate, this might also translate into hobbies. Like maybe you might think this person is really passionate about skiing or music or surfing or something like that. But narcissists really usually aren't passionate about these types of things outside of how it helps create their image for them. So a narcissist that seems very passionate about, let's say, surfing, they might enjoy surfing, but they're not going to be passionate about it in the way that somebody else might be passionate about it. If you were very passionate about surfing, it would probably be about the experience, maybe your love of the ocean, maybe it would be your love of the climate that you usually have to surf in, or just the activity of it, the exercise in it. There would be many things that might make you very passionate about surfing. But for a pathological narcissist who seems very passionate about surfing, it's going to be more about how it makes them look. It's going to be more about how it makes them feel to be a surfer, and the image they're presenting and the reputation that goes along with that. Pathological narcissists really don't have a lot of energy left after building and defending their fake identity and their ego to really be passionate about anything. So when it seems like they're very passionate about a hobby, I mean, they might genuinely enjoy that, but most of that passion that you see is really about how it's going to make them look. Because when it gets to the level where you might call it some sort of obsession, narcissists don't have the emotional energy to spare for anything unless it's supply, unless it's something that's going to give them external validation. Another personality trait that you might think a narcissist has is one of being very helpful, a very helpful person. Wow, this person is always right there to help, to give me tips on how to do stuff, to give me unsolicited advice, to get really angry when I don't take every stupid little piece of unsolicited advice when I'm just trying to get something done. Narcissists might throw this line at you a lot of, I'm just trying to help you. Oh, sorry if I'm just trying to help you. Oh, I guess you don't want help. In the beginning of a relationship with a narcissist, you might really think that this person is really helpful because they seem to be so helpful all the time. But as time goes by, you'll soon start to notice that this isn't really help. This is a way they're trying to control you, nitpick you, micromanage you, do things for you the way they think things should be done, not allow you the freedom to do things on your own way, even to make what they would see as mistakes. And the difference between somebody who truly is helpful because they want to help people is a narcissist will get very butthurt, very angry when you don't want their help. When you try to tell them, no, I'm good, I can do this on my own. When you really just want to get something done without this person hanging over your shoulder, helping you. A narcissist will not take kindly to that because they're not doing it to actually be helpful or to help you. They're doing it so that they can feel like they know better. They know everything. They know how everything should be done. And they do it so that they can feel like they are in control of you and everything that you're trying to do. So it makes them feel like they can look at themselves as this extremely helpful person that's so wonderful, and that you will see them the same way. So on one hand, they might want you to see them as an extremely helpful person because this is a way they want to look at themselves. They want that to be part of their reputation. So if you refuse their help, to them it's kind of like you're saying, no, you're not a helpful person. I don't want to see you as a helpful person. I want to do it on my own. And they're going to take that personally. They're not going to take into consideration that maybe you just want to do something on your own and that they are not actually being helpful. They expect you to help them build this fake identity and this ego for them. So if they offer their help, you better take their help because that's what's going to help them feel like a helpful person. And on the other hand, when they're trying to help you, they are trying to control you in every little thing you're doing. So if you refuse their help in that sort of situation, you're really pushing back on them trying to control you, and there's nothing worse than that. So helpful, I mean, they are far from helpful. They are anything but helpful. I think sometimes they have good advice, but really, even when they do have all these mountains of unwanted, unsolicited advice, I have found that while sometimes it's good advice, most of the time it's actually really terrible advice, which makes everything 100 times worse. Another personality trait you might think a narcissist has when you first meet them is they seem to be very supportive. They seem to be willing to really listen to you and to give you great advice, again with the advice, right? Or they seem to really be there for you when you really need them, or they just seem to be giving you what you need in order to achieve your goals, or they seem to care about your goals. Now, again, this might just be a way that the narcissist wants to look and wants to look at themselves. They want to be seen as a supportive person. They want that to be part of this fake identity that they're building up. So they're going to act like a really supportive person. But if you really look close at the ways that they are supporting you, these are very rarely going to be any ways in which it really costs them anything. Maybe if they're giving you money, maybe it's money they can easily afford to part with. So it's not really costing them anything. Or maybe they're letting you borrow a car or something, but it's like a car that they never ever use. So it doesn't really cost them anything. It's something where they don't really have to give anything up that's really going to hurt them, but it's going to make them look really supportive, or it's going to make them feel like they can say, hey, I've been so supportive of you, and now you want to walk out on me, or you want to cut this relationship off after all the support I've given. And of course, this exposes how this supportive personality trait is actually just a way to control and manipulate you, to create things that they can hold over your head later, that they can guilt trip you with. So this is, again, in addition to how they may want to see themselves as a supportive person. They may care about how that can be part of their reputation. But many, many people that have been in long-term relationships of any kind with a narcissist have unfortunately learned the hard way that when push comes to shove, a narcissist really is not supportive of you in any way. They see you as competition. And if things start to actually cost them anything, or if things actually are going to detract from their reputation, like if standing up for you might cost them something in their reputation, even if you're right, even if they really should be standing up for you, like maybe they know you're telling the truth and you're standing up for the truth, but if they stand up with you, they know that other people might not agree with them, or it might cost them something. A narcissist will be the first one to throw you under the bus, to even lie about the things that you're saying. A narcissist will also leave you holding the bag. They might encourage you to go down a certain road, making you think that they're there for you, that they're going to support you. But if anything goes wrong, you're going to find yourself all alone, holding the bag and taking all the blame. Another way that you might mistakenly see a narcissist when you first meet them is you might see them as the peacemaker. You might see them as the cool, calm, collected one, the person that's not getting involved in the drama, not getting in the middle of the fights, the person that's playing the mediator when their friends are fighting with each other. Now, Some narcissists are extremely reactive, have very little control over their behavior, and are certainly very capable of being right in the middle of all of the drama. But some narcissists can control their behavior really well, and they can really present the image of somebody who's really cool, calm, and collected. There's nothing wrong with this until you start to see over time that this person's actually more of the instigator than they want people to see. This person might be somebody that always says things like, I don't like drama. Oh, I always try to stay away from the drama. I don't like stirring things up. But if you really knew this person and you really got close and you saw the way that they're actually interacting with people in their life, you might see that they are actually the one creating the drama. Like, they might go to one friend and say, hey, I'm really worried about so-and-so. It seems like they're forgetting things a lot lately, or something's really troubling them. What do you think about that? Like, they're fishing, right? And maybe that friend might say something back now that they've been encouraged. They might say something like, well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess he did forget to pick me up the other night when I talked to him. Yeah, maybe he is starting to forget things. And then now the narcissist might go to that other friend and say, hey, I wouldn't normally say anything, but so-and-so just told me that he's really worried about you, like that you're forgetting things a lot lately. Are you okay? I mean, I really want to be there for you if you're really starting to struggle with anything. And of course, now this friend might be really irked that this other person is talking about them behind their back, but the narcissist is completely manufacturing all of this and creating this tension and drama, and then standing back and making it seem to these two other people that they're causing it with each other. And they might actually really start to fight and argue, leaving the narcissist out of it and completely losing sight that the narcissist is the one that caused all of this drama. Narcissists love to do this kind of stuff because they can then step in and play the peacemaker. And maybe to them, being the peacemaker is how they want the world to see them. And it's just fun for them, I think. Narcissists are really, really bored people, as I have said many times. So this is just entertaining to them. And they don't care who they hurt or how they hurt other people or other people's relationships. If it entertains them, it's totally worth it. And of course, if they're able to do these sorts of things, if they're able to stir up drama and then step back and keep their hands clean of anything, that makes them feel really powerful and like they're able to control people, and they get a real charge out of that. That makes them feel really important and really relevant. So that's another reason that they might do this sort of thing. But of course, narcissists are anything but the peacemaker. They do not care about other people's arguments or anything like that, and they like drama and chaos, so they certainly wouldn't do anything to lessen it. They're not going to be this benevolent person that steps in and mediates things and causes peace if it doesn't make them look good. And if it makes them look good, that is the only reason that they're going to do it. So they might actually cause drama and chaos just so that they can step in and look like the peacemaker and the mediator. Narcissists don't care about you. They don't care about the argument you're having with your friend. They don't care about your relationship with other people. They don't care about the relationships of other people. They don't care about their own relationships. So why in the world would they spend any time or energy trying to help you with a relationship you have with somebody else? Narcissists are not peacemakers. They are drama queens, and they thrive on chaos. But the bottom line is, when you meet a narcissist, you're never really going to meet the real person underneath the mask, because there really is no genuine person underneath it all. There is a manufactured identity. There is somebody who is trying to build what they think they want the world to see them as, and they spend so much time and energy on that they don't even know who they really are. There really is nobody there to get to know. So all of these personality traits that you see, and all these ways that you interpret their quirky or odd behavior into trying to shape it into a normal person, these things are going to fall apart over time as things just stop fitting. They stop making sense. You know, this person that seems really generous, you start to see how stingy they actually are, or how much they actually resent the people that they've given things to. Or people that seem really nice, over time you start to see how cruel they are. And this can start to be a very confusing thing. This can start to be very disorienting, and you might not know why does this person that I thought was so supportive, why is this person so willing to just throw me under the bus? So I hope that by going over these things in this video that I've helped you understand what these personality traits really mean and why this can be so confusing over time, and how really when it comes to a pathological narcissist, you really never know what you're actually getting. I hope this helps. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and comment below any ideas you have for me for future videos. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like this video and would like to see more like it in the future. Until next time, thanks. Bye.